When working outside, we all know very well that it's not always going to be ideal conditions. There's rain or snow that we have to battle, wet, sloppy, soupy ground, and it can make some projects pretty difficult. We always like to think best case scenario when we're looking at a job, that it's going to be nice and easy, nice and dry, we can get in there without any issues, but that's not always the case due to scheduling, due to different customer needs that need met. All these factors play a part in when the job needs done and how it gets done. And sometimes it can be frustrating. It can be stressful trying to plan when these jobs can be done when you're working around the weather. You have to look for windows of opportunity when the weather is just good enough that you could get in there, get this job knocked out before things get bad again. Well, one way to get rid of all this stress is to use ground protection mats. You've probably seen them around before. They're pretty common on different job sites. But what you may not know is that you can rent them or buy them. Either way, they are pretty easy to get and obtain and use, easier than you might think, and they could save you a lot of money for a project in the long run. For those of you that don't know, my name is Chad. This channel is called Excavation Revelation. We talk about different excavating strategies and reveal different tips and procedures to go about different jobs. We also talk about different tools. And the video today is going to be about covering the tool ground protection mats. This isn't necessarily going to be a very entertaining videos. I know some of mine aren't very entertaining, but I just try to get the facts out there. I try to help people out by opening up some perspectives and giving them some knowledge. These ground protection mats really are a game changer, especially if you just have to get in to do a job one time, get in and out. They can really make things easy for you. Mats are generally 4 by 8 feet, about the same size of a sheet of plywood. They're about ½ inch thick or so. A 4 by 8 mat is going to weigh around 80 pounds. They do come in some different sizes. You can get like a 2 by 8, you can get a 5 by 8, but 4 by 8 is a pretty common size. A mat like this, like I said, it's going to weigh about 80 pounds, but if you factor in too, if they're caked in mud or dirt, probably about 100 pounds realistically. But they can be managed pretty easily with 1 or 2 people. You can drag them, you can team carry them like we're doing. They're really not that bad at all to handle. They're made out of HDPE, high density polyethylene. It's basically a very tough plastic, the same as a lot of storm drain pipe is made out of. These things are tough. Most of them, depending on the manufacturer, are rated up to 60 tons, which is pretty crazy. So for just a little skid loader or a little excavator, you're not going to do any damage to these things at all. They're designed for bigger trucks, even concrete trucks, triaxles. None of those trucks weigh 60 tons. So you're not going to have any issues at all, no matter what truck you're going to bring across these mats. They do a great job of dispersing your ground pressure and not leaving any damage to the yard or the surface below. Now, if you're going over a sidewalk, for example, you're still going to have some weight on that sidewalk, so I would still be a little hesitant about crushing or cracking a sidewalk. But they're essentially going to let you float across a yard, and they're also going to leave the job site without any form of tracks, any damage. Now, you could otherwise, coming to a job site, you could cut a road in if you're going to be getting in and out a lot. You could bring stone in or fabric. But this is all pretty expensive because then you have to rip it out probably at the end and replant it. But with these mats, you can get into a job site nice and easily and take them off at the end without necessarily any harm done. Like anything, there are different manufacturers: Duramat, Alternamat, Blue Gator, but they all are essentially the same concept. They're just a mat that you can use to lay down to provide access to an area. Some of them have handle holes cut in. Some of them have a diamond plate feature. If you're looking to buy these, there are all options you can have when purchasing them. Obviously, the plain Jane ones are going to be the cheapest, but you can have whatever feature you want for them, essentially. If you're looking to cross, say, a field track, get into a football field, They do make a version with a smooth side that you can get in. It's not going to mark up that track at all. But most of the time, you want at least one side with a diamond plate for a little bit of traction, so you're not slipping and sliding, walking across them with a machine. They vary a little bit from the price. $250 to $350 is a pretty common price, which is expensive, but you figure these things are going to last you forever. You can buy them one time and you'll have them forever. It's a very good tool to have around, and it's very convenient when you own them to bring them along in your trailer or from job to job. You never know when you need them in a pinch. But if you don't want to head up that big expense to purchase them, renting is also an option. I think this is what most people don't realize. Renting these is very easy. Sunbelt Rentals, United Rentals, most of your bigger rental outfits are going to carry these mats. Other equipment places such as Bobcat, I know, has one. I think theirs were 5x8 when I checked for my local Bobcat dealership to rent. But Cat, John Deere, other places might rent these as well. But you can rest assured that someplace like a bigger outfit like Sunbelt Rentals or United Rentals are to have these. And they're going to be fairly cheap. About $10 a day is what these mats in my area cost to rent. Now there are taxes and fees, but they're not much at all. But $10 a day to rent these mats, you can get them for a day, a week, a month, however long you need them. But this cost is nothing compared to tearing up somebody's yard and making a big mess. These are just very effective, efficient tools to have with you on the job site. They can come in different colors as well. Black, white, or some of them even have like a clear version. The black ones are going to absorb more sunlight, which is essentially more heat. So that's why they make a clear version as well. So in a quick nutshell, this is where we made the road right here. We came right in. You can't even tell we were here. Those mats worked out awesome. You can slightly tell the track marks, but there's no dents in the sod. The grass isn't tore up. We just kept placing them in front of us. Got the shrubs all pulled. They're all loose, just laying there. He's going to clean them up. One little spot here and there where the machine slid off the mat, and I was just struggling to pull, but that is very minor. Here we can't tell we were here. I think there were a couple more little minor spots back here, yeah. Grass will grow there. Nothing too bad. Got the shrubs out. Then we just made our path, kept stacking them in front of us the whole way out here. Right between the sand mound and the septic. Normally I'd shy away from driving over something like this, the pipes, but those mats dispersed the ground pressure. Couldn't even tell we went over them. Even this little ditch down here was not even an issue with those mats. Got these two pines pulled without even using the mats. I was able to stay on the road. But here is a little example. I did back in a little far, and you can see what would have happened in basically their whole yard had we not used the mats. Now, it doesn't seem like much, but you put your hand down and it drops a good bit. Like, it sunk in a good bit right here just from being in the yard that much. The ground is just really wet and saturated. That machine's over 8,000 pounds. So their whole yard would have had these divots in it, plus some more mud from spinning if we didn't have those Durmats. It is load up nicely, fit on the trailer nice with the forks. Good to go. Overall, I just can't stress enough how great these mats are. They're kind of like Jesus. They make a way when there ain't no way.